Deepest search of validity, validate enemies, fabricate tendencies, allocate penalties, acclimate differently, kill my identity, forget my enemy, tentatively nosedive in dependency, popping no anything, fucking no anything, blame my heredity, excuses for everything, claiming I didn't see, hope you ain't noticed me when I...
In today's video, I'm finally answering long-awaited questions. So I literally wrote in my planner today, film why I moved back to Texas. In a video from a few months ago where I was like, oh, major life updates or something like that, I told you all that I was going to be moving somewhere, but I didn't say specifically where. But since I've moved back, some of the videos I've posted, I think I've said that I'm in Texas, but if you didn't know or if you haven't watched those videos, I am back in Houston, Texas. So let me just get into why. If you've been following my page for a while or subscribed to my channel for a while, then you know that actually I was originally planning to move to New York. I've been talking about New York, New York, New York, New York, New York. The closer it got to my lease being up, the more it was like, okay, I'm gonna move, because I had already told myself when I moved to Seattle in 2018, summer 2018, that I was only staying there for 3 years. I did not want to stay there longer than 3 years. And this was before I really had even like moved. I just knew that that wasn't a region of the country that I was trying to like stay in forever, you know? I went there because I got a job offer, and that's the only reason I went to Seattle. Once those 3 years started getting closer to being up, you know, I had to start thinking like, okay, where am I gonna go? Do I wanna go back to Houston? Do I wanna go to New York? Do I wanna go to LA? I even considered Miami, I considered Georgia. So I had all these different places that I was thinking about moving to. And I just had to like really solidify which one, which was New York. So I started looking at places in New York, you know, apartments, all that type of stuff. I applied to so many jobs, you guys, like so many jobs. And I didn't even get an interview except for maybe like 2 of them. And I swear I probably applied to like 100. I just knew that if I moved to New York, I was gonna need a job that was paying more than my current job. And because, you know, New York is more expensive. And then also was probably paying me like even more than what I really was gonna ask for. But I knew that I was gonna need a lot of money to move to New York, because even though the panorama, y'all know, made the prices go down, rent prices in New York, they started rising up around the time that I was like planning to move, because, you know, by that time things had started opening up more, the vaccine was out, and so, you know, things were kind of going back to normal. And so then I was thinking, well, you know, yeah, I need to live by myself. I'm so used to living by myself. I need an apartment where I don't have any roommates. And the apartments there were so expensive for even just a studio. And I was just like, this is so small. Like the apartments are so small. The ones that are even like the more affordable ones, and when I say affordable, I mean like they're still in the $1,400 price range, looked trash. Like they looked trash. Like who would want to live in this, you know, apartment? Then that made me be like, you know, maybe I won't move to New York right now, you know, like maybe that won't happen. So I ended up actually finding a new job where I could work remote. So I started working for this new company, which is actually based in a completely different state, and it's a remote position. And so I was making, you know, my salary increased, and so I was like, okay, I might still move to New York. But then I was thinking, you know, New York takes out, you know, state taxes and then all these other things that Washington does not take out, Texas does not take out, and Florida does not take out. So I was like, well, I know I'm not staying in Washington. So then I started considering going to Miami, because I was like, okay, I'm getting paid more. The cost of living in Miami is actually not super expensive. The outside, like the neighborhoods and stuff of Miami are not expensive. Like the rents are very, I mean, because it is still the South. So you have to remember the South in general is just more affordable. So even going to a city like Miami, it was more affordable still than me going to New York, and still more affordable than me staying in Seattle. And then I kind of scratched that idea, and then I just decided I'm just gonna go back to Texas. I was just like, I'm gonna just go back to Texas, because Houston is still more affordable than Miami. So I was like, you know what, I'll just go back to Houston. I'm already familiar with Houston. I have tons of friends here. Like, most of my close friends are here in Houston, and I love Houston. I love Texas. I'll be back to warm weather. I'll be back to more affordable everything. And so I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna move back to Houston. So I started looking at apartments and things like that, because when I lived in Houston the first time, I lived in Willowbrook, which is northwest Houston. It's like right by like the Beltway. So, it's pretty far from the city. And I was pretty far from my school, because I went to TSU, and I was far from most of my friends, because most of my friends lived in either like the north side or down on the south side. And so I wanted to live closer to the city. So I ended up going on Instagram, and I was looking up realtors, because I had watched this YouTube video and this person said that they use a realtor, and they were like, it's free to use a realtor. And I didn't know that you could do that. I thought like, it's their job, like you got to pay them by the hour and all this type of stuff, but no. And so I found this realtor on Instagram. I literally just searched Houston realtor, and then like a whole bunch of realtors came up, and I specifically wanted to either use a woman or like someone black. He was super, super cool, super nice, super helpful. I sent him an email, actually. He has his email on his Instagram. I sent him an email and just like told him what I was looking for, my price range, the different things that like I had to have, the stuff that I wanted to have but like it wasn't necessary. And he was able to send me a list of like 10 apartments within like the next day, and told me to just like look at those apartments, because I was still in Seattle at this time. He told me to look at those apartments. If there was any that I wanted him to go like look at in person, just let him know and he'll go look. And so that's what we did. I looked through his list, found a couple that I really liked. He went and looked at them, sent me videos of like him walking through the apartment, and I of course looked up like the virtual tours and things like that. I looked up videos on YouTube, and I ended up picking one. And yeah, it was a really easy process. Like, having a realtor really helped me out, because before I was just looking at the apartments myself, trying to write down every apartment, how much they cost, if they allow pets, what their fees are, and then calling them myself. And it was way easier to have a realtor who already knows the market. He already knows, apartments that he's shown people multiple times, and knows like, he just knows what he's looking for. Like, when you tell him what you want, he knows what places to send you, And so it made the process super fast, super easy. And I found an apartment, I put in my application, I got accepted like that same day or the next day. And yeah, that was that. I knew that I was going to be having to move my stuff, y'all. A U-Haul was going to be so expensive, because, by the way, y'all, I paid for this entire move myself. My job didn't pay any type of relocation, because, like I said, it's a remote position. I did not have to move. I just wanted to move. So they didn't pay any relocation. So all of those little like stimulus checks that we were getting, I saved those. So that was like the money I used to help me move. And then also I had just been saving money from my job anyway, because I already knew, going into my last year in Seattle, that was my last year. So I already was saving. So the U-Haul was gonna be super expensive, y'all. In my apartment, honestly, I really don't have in my other apartment, I really didn't have like a ton of stuff. I started selling like some of the stuff I wasn't gonna take, like my couch. I sold a bunch of my, pretty much all my plants except for like one. I just sold like stuff that I didn't need anymore. Y'all, my camera died. I knew it was gonna die, and I was like, this battery, I feel like it dies so much faster than my other Canon camera. So I was like, ooh, I probably got at least like 10 minutes or so, but no, it just died. So I'm gonna just finish this on my phone, since I was about to be done talking to y'all anyway. I sold everything that I could sell that I didn't want, and I started packing kind of early, just so I can get an idea of like how big of boxes I would have and how many boxes I would have, because like I said, the U-Haul was going to be very expensive, and I felt like I didn't really need a big U-Haul. And so I started thinking like maybe I could just rent like a large SUV. And so that's exactly what I did. And Budget had some large SUVs because the U-Haul was gonna be like $3,000, y'all. But me getting this Budget rental SUV, because Budget is at like pretty much every airport, and so that's where I went to go pick up the SUV. And it was a Ford Expedition, like a 2021 Ford Expedition, and it had a ton of space. You can lay down like all the back seats and everything like that. So we had a seat up for where Luna was sitting, and then everything else was laid down. And literally, y'all, everything fit just perfectly. Like if I would have had one more item, it would not have fit. So everything I had literally fit just perfectly. It cost half the price of a U-Haul. It was like, after like everything, it was like $1,647 or something like that. And so I'm really happy that I ended up doing that. My job, they gave me like a $150 gift card. I used that for gas on the way, you know, driving back. My mom, she did not want me driving across the country by myself, so I flew her here because she was not wanting me to go by myself. I flew her here from Kentucky, and I flew her back. Once we were in Houston, I flew her back. I paid for her plane ticket, you know, to Seattle and back to Kentucky. And yeah, so we drove. It took us, we left on a Friday and we got to Houston on a Sunday. I'll probably do a more in-depth video of like, you know, if you're trying to move, the different things that you need to do and stuff. But for the most part, I absolutely hate moving. It's just a lot. But you know, I'm really happy that I came back to Houston. Do I plan on staying in Houston? No. I still plan on moving somewhere else. I still want to go to New York. And now I also have a new idea of a place to go, but I'm not gonna say yet where that may be because it might not happen. But I still want to go to New York. I still would like to, you know, try out Miami actually. And yeah, but for the most part, I'm just gonna be sticking around in Houston. I've been enjoying my time back in Houston, being around my friends, you know, that I had, you know, got while I was here has been so great because I feel like I've hung out with way more people since I've been back than the whole time I was in Seattle, you know, like, because these are my people, you know what I'm saying? Like, no offense to nobody in Seattle, but like Houston, you know, these are my people. They are my people first. And it's just we see each other, okay? We see each other. And so I'm just gonna enjoy my time while I'm here. You know, I might stay here till the end of my lease, or I might end up leaving early. I might stay here past my lease. I don't really know yet, y'all. I don't really know. But I just wanted to give y'all kind of like a background into why I moved and that whole process. Long story short, there really was no reason I had to move. I just wanted to move. I didn't want to stay in Seattle. I wanted to be back in a climate that I liked. I wanted to be back around, you know, my people and all of that. And that's pretty much the end of that. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know I'm just talking and it's not anything like too crazy. Just follow me on all my socials and I will continue to keep y'all updated on the things I'm doing here in Texas and if I end up going anywhere else, okay? So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.
So I reach, now I'm glowing, yo. Nah, 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 la, la, la. Yeah, I gotta keep going.